Good morning, everyone. I'm State Representative Dan Ugassi. I represent the 65th District, which includes parts of Kane and DuPage counties. I lead the Reigniting Illinois Strong Economy, or RISE, working group. This group has been working to improve Illinois' business climate, allowing us to take advantage of the state's other strengths to bring job creators and opportunities to Illinois. We're working on doing this while still protecting workers and the public. Since we last spoke in mid-March about this group, the group has worked on proposed legislation to bring growth and, more importantly, hope for a brighter future and more opportunity for Illinois. These bills can be broken down into 4 different categories. They include tax reduction, business reform, responsible energy policy, and litigation reforms. These bills would bring certainty to employers and help provide extra opportunities that workers in Illinois need to make ends meet. Many of the bills that I have introduced address the issue of workers' compensation. Despite some improvement in workers' compensation costs in recent years, it still remains a big obstacle to business investment in Illinois. These reasonable reforms would help make Illinois a pro-growth state. HB 4079 would provide for the reduction in the cost of medications and health care while still maintaining a worker's ability to obtain the best health care our state has to offer. HB 4082 provides for other cost reductions in a variety of ways, yet it still protects our workers, provides for them and their families when they cannot work, and would allow Illinois businesses to be competitive with other businesses throughout the nation. For litigation reforms, we have House Bill 2988, which would reduce the rate of pre-interest judgment down to 5%. House Bill 4080, which would require a party to which would require that a party in a suit be found more than 50% liable before they are jointly and severally liable. Finally, House Bill 4081 provides for an affirmative defense for businesses that comply with written cybersecurity programs to protect personal and restricted information at industry-recognized standards. These proposals are the start of a better tomorrow for Illinois. Lower taxes, less regulation, controlled litigation, and the assurance of reliable and affordable energy. Still, there would be more to be done. Unfortunately, the bills I've just mentioned, and many of the bills you will hear about today, still have one thing in common. They're all sitting in the Rules Committee. Session adjourns a week from Friday, and we will not return until the fall. However, as you saw yesterday at the House floor with the action that was going on, we still have time to get these bills into committee and up to the House floor for debate. I urge the House Democrats to allow these bills to move so they can be debated and common sense reforms made to help job creators and workers in Illinois by bringing more opportunities to this once great state. Thank you for coming today. I will now turn the microphone over to Representative Sanalitro of the 48th District.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Sanalitro. I am State Representative for 48th District, which includes communities in suburban DuPage and Cook counties. In addition to being a state rep, I have a private sector career working as a saleswoman for a pallet and packaging company. We service all types of businesses, and my experience there leaves me with one key takeaway. Our state, especially my region, is filled with great companies. These businesses provide fantastic products and services to not only the communities of Illinois, but communities across the country as well. What makes them even more special is that they employ hundreds of thousands of hardworking Illinoisans, honest people that work hard to provide for their families and loved ones. These job creators and business owners provide the people we represent with jobs to not only earn income, but offers them an important sense of fulfillment and purpose in their lives. However, as of late, operating any size business in Illinois has become increasingly difficult. Not only is this due to the struggle of finding quality employees, But now more than ever, businesses in Illinois have had to pay some seriously substantial tax bills. Despite being a freshman here in the General Assembly, I've noticed that representatives from both sides of the aisle recognize that the tax burden on the average Illinoisan is too great. It prevents us both from creating an environment that attracts new investment while also preventing us from lowering costs for our state's existing businesses. With that, I'm excited to share some of the Reigniting Illinois Strong Economy Working Group's proposed bills designed to lower taxes and achieve real economic growth. HB 3467 is a Repo Zinga-sponsored bill that has to do with property taxes and pensions. The bill supports school districts with grants and will ultimately reduce the property tax burdens on its residents. HB 3580 is a Wilhauer-sponsored bill, Restore Our Supply Chains Tax Reform Act. The proposal allows taxpayers to claim depreciation at a federal tax level, making it more attractive for businesses to bring supply chains back to Illinois. HB 1459 is a Leader McCombie-sponsored bill, and it reforms estate taxes. The bill would increase the exclusion amount for Illinois estate taxes from $4 million to match the federal level of about $12 million. Coupling this exclusion amount puts us on a par with the federal government and minimizes the tax burden someone feels when they inherit assets. And finally, excess reserve tax abatement review. We're taking a closer look at this policy to ensure fairness and effectiveness. These proposals are important because we all know that the state is losing residents and businesses at a very alarming rate. Sitting idly by and doing nothing is no longer an option. I'm optimistic that these proposals will create an economic environment that facilitates job creation, attracts investment, supports small businesses, and most importantly, lowers taxes. Let's make Illinois a place you want to live, not leave. I will now turn it over to Rep. Wilhauer, who will talk about some energy proposals. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen, and thank you guys for being here today. Representative Blaine Wilhauer, South Central Illinois. I want to talk about energy today. Cheap and reliable energy is the basic building block that's literally separated us from third world countries. And it's been essential to economic growth in Illinois. And until very recently, in the last several years here, it's been a major competitive advantage for job creators and potential job creators in this state. And that's all changed over the past few years as the legislature and the governor in this state have imposed energy policies that are unrealistic, they're unaffordable, and they've stripped away the job creation advantages of being an energy exporter, which this state once was and has the resources to be again. Don't get us wrong here. It's great to be aspirational about these about policies, but successful people and successful organizations are able and willing to temper their aspirations with reality. They don't force their political aspiration through on the backs of their working class constituents. If your policies result in lowering the quality of life for people that are subjected to them, then it's not good policy, and it's not policy that's going to attract opportunity to this state. Telling grandma that she just needs to sweat it out a little bit more in the summer and put on an extra sweater in the winter doesn't cut it for us. The CEJA and the overall direction of energy policy in this state and in this country, for that matter, is literally hurting people. Energy prices have doubled. At least doubled, sometimes tripled, and sometimes even more than that for people in small businesses that can afford it least, because energy is being taken off the grid as a result of these policies, and it cannot be replaced by renewables. Nobody denies that. Nobody doubts that. It's simply a supply and demand issue. The supply is being artificially limited because the supply is here. We do have it in Illinois, and the demand is a constant. and it's going to get even more as we bring more EVs and things of that nature online. So the prices are going through the roof for consumers with no end in sight. And we, as a group and as a House of Republicans, we're not willing to sacrifice the prosperity of our citizens so that a handful of politicians can have a talking point. That's what we're dealing with here. We're not opposed to renewables. We just want the policies to be focused around the best interests of our citizens and ultimately not to harm them. Our intent is to combine the aspirations of CEJA with the realities of the grid. In order to protect the reliability and affordability of energy in Illinois, I've filed House Bill 4085, and this would allow the Illinois Commerce Commission to take action in 2 different circumstances. In the case of a pending closure of a power plant, if the ICC determines that that closure would put the health of the grid or the affordability of power in jeopardy, then the ICC can pause emission caps in CEJA and keep that plant online. A plant operator who is considering a shutdown can petition the ICC to remain open with emission caps in CEJA paused in order to provide the necessary power to the grid with the approval of the ICC and a hearing process. Here's the bottom line. If power becomes unaffordable and unreliable, or both, which we're seeing currently, under the current CEJA law, then the ICC and the power generators have the tools they need to keep them operating in order to supply the power that we need for the businesses and the citizens in this state. It's really just a common sense approach to protect the availability of affordability of power in this state. I kind of call it the grown-up version of CEJA. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Representative Jackie Haas.
Thank you. Good morning. I am Assistant Minority Leader Jackie Haas, and I represent the 79th House District. For the past 33 years, I have also served my community as a social worker and became the CEO of the Helen Wheeler Center for Community Mental Health in 2000. Social workers see just about everything in our communities, especially the dynamics and challenges that exist for women and families. That's why I'm proud to lead the Supporting Women and Families Working Group with the House Republicans for the 103rd General Assembly. This General Assembly, our working group focused on helping the women of Illinois in 3 diverse areas. First, we helped women take leadership in their own health care. I introduced House Bill 4056 to create the Maternal Health and Wellbeing Work Group with IDPH's Division of Maternal, Child, and Health Services in the Women's Office of Health and Family Services. This work group will research and highlight geographic maternal health care disparities in Illinois and make recommendations to connect pregnant women and new mothers with resources for the health and well-being of both the mother and child. Next, we're helping women take leadership in business and trades to help grow Illinois' economy and make us competitive as a place for job creators to grow families and to help them plant roots. Lastly, we're helping women take leadership in bettering the health and safety of children. Legislation that I'm proudly co-sponsoring with House Republican Floor Leader Patrick Windhorst will require the Department of Agriculture to conduct an Access to Nutritious Food program in Illinois to help identify food deserts. House Bill 4073, which I'm co-sponsoring with Leader Hammond, also requires the State Healthcare Workforce Council to work with graduate medical education and training programs and address the healthcare workforce shortage that we have in Illinois. We need more doctors to continue practicing in Illinois after they graduate, and this legislation will address that so Illinois women and families can get the care that they need. I look forward to continued debate on Senate Bill 1360, which is a bipartisan legislation that Leader Windhorst and I are sponsoring to help eliminate the food deserts in our state. I also encourage consideration and debate on House Bill 4073 and House Bill 4056 so we can address the pressing issues of the shortages in our healthcare workforce and maternal health in Illinois. And with that, I will introduce my colleague, Representative Amy Ellick, who will continue to focus on the legislation we've presented in this work group.
Good morning. My name is Amy Ellick. I serve as state representative of the 111th District representing Madison County. Our focus of the Women and Families Work Group has been trying to find ways to make an impact by helping improve the health and safety of children and families. Improving access to child care is critical to helping children and families. It is especially challenging today for families to find child care in areas of the state where child care deserts exist. I am proud to co-sponsor House Bill 4059 with Leader Haas to require DCFS to proactively inform people how they can become child care providers in hopes that this will increase interest and awareness of this opportunity. Concerning children's behavioral health, our children are spending more hours each day in front of an electronic device. According to the CDC, children ages 8 to 10 spend an average of 6 hours a day in front of a screen, with about 4 hours in front of a TV. 6 hours a day on a tablet or in front of the TV is not healthy for a child's behavioral health. That's why I sponsored House Bill 4060 to require the State Board of Education, in cooperation with the Department of Public Health, to prepare and disseminate to all public and non-public schools in the state information on instructional materials and programs that encourage healthy screen time usage, along with ways to incorporate off-screen activities into daily routines. It provides that the information provided by the State Board may be distributed by schools to the parents or guardians of the students. A few other important bills discussed in the Women and Families Working Group include House Bill 4058 and House Bill 3361. House Bill 4058, sponsored by Leader Stevens and Leader Haas, provides that the name of a minor who is the alleged offender named in a juvenile law enforcement record may be disclosed to the victim or alleged victim named upon request in writing unless the law enforcement agency determines that the release of the information would impede the criminal investigation. The reason HB 4058 was filed is due to an instance where classmates sent a middle school girl text messages pretending to be another student threatening physical violence and sexual assault. The mother of the victim contacted the sheriff's office to seek prosecution of the offending student. The mother was frustrated by the fact that even as the victim, her child was unable to know the name of the person harassing her. In addition, to help improve the health and safety of our children is House Bill 3361, sponsored by Leader Spain and Leader Haas. House Bill 3361 requires the State Board of Education to establish a school-based mental health services grant program to award grants to schools for the purpose of providing supplemental mental health services to students, in addition to services provided by the employees of a school. The 4 bills I discussed are just a few examples of legislation our Women and Families Working Group has introduced to improve children's health and safety. Finding ways to improve the health and safety of children and families is our goal and focus of this working group. I'll now turn it back over to Representative Ugasti, who will open this up for questions.
Thank you. Before we start questions, I was a bit remiss and did not introduce Assistant Leader Stevens is here with us. He's a member of both working groups,